awkward to begin with, and then
Just like gripping the side of the chair, like.
yeah, okay, and then be like, we're live.
We're live. Okay. Well, welcome to the Purple Podcast. This is our third episode, and slowly improving. I'm Logan.
I am Joel.
I'm Brooklyn.
And I'm Hailey.
And Hailey is our guest today, and she has some really cool experiences that we would like to talk to her about. So, first of all, you are a Nordic skier,
Correct.
and you got to go to Kazakhstan, correct?
I did. I represented the United States in Kazakhstan at the World Junior Championships. And that was the beginning of February was the championships, and it was a really awesome experience.
That's awesome. So, you Nordic ski, right?
Yeah.
So, do you want to explain what Nordic skiing is?
So I like to explain Nordic skiing as going up the hills instead of down them, which is kind of weird to most people when they think of skiing, but it's what I love to do. So the skis are much skinnier than downhill skis. There's classic skiing, which is similar motion to walking, and there's also skate skiing, which is kind of like ice skating on tracks or like on a groomed trail. So
Neat.
it's really cool. Yeah.
Cool. And so I was reading a little bit about the news article that they put together with the competition. So it was a relay race? Was that one of the events, or?
Yeah, one of the events was a relay. My team got 8th, which was
Nice.
It was really cool for the United States because we've been known as a developing ski nation, not a ski nation itself. So we're finally coming around, making ourselves known that we are competitive and we are a really good ski nation now.
Cool.
So it was cool to be a part of that.
Yeah. What were the top countries?
Generally you see Norway doing really well because Nordic skiing does Nordic Norway. It
That
is
makes sense.
It's a Scandinavian sport. People in Scandinavia grow up with skis on their feet. They're born with skis on their feet. So you see a lot of Sweden, Norway, Finland up there, Germany, and heck, United States now. So it's really cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
Cool.
Nice. So have you you've traveled in the past for skiing?
Mm-hmm.
Where have you gone? 'Cause
I've gone to Norway actually
cool.
2 years ago, and then last year I traveled to Finland for competing against only Scandinavians. So
Cool.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
Which
that's
which
cool.
of those countries did you like best?
Oh, I must say, I don't know. I blend in both of the Scandinavian ones with
That's
my
cool.
blonde hair.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed Norway. I thought it was a cool place. It's one of my favorite countries. So it was just really neat to go there. But
Nice.
Kazakhstan also was very culturally diverse and pretty interesting to go there.
Cool. Yeah. I'm sorry. I've got one more question, then I'll finally
Yeah,
let
go
you
for
guys
it. Yeah.
talk. But I was just curious, like with the different travel experience that you're getting, like I would love to hear some about that. You know, the different people and what the countries were like. Like, I mean, we have a hard time pronouncing Kazakhstan, let alone like knowing where it is or
Yeah,
what it's
right.
like or.
So Kazakhstan, we were about 100 miles from the border of China. So we were very far east. I guess it would be considered Asia more than Europe. And the people some of them looked Asian and some of them looked really Russian because it had been controlled by Russia, the
Okay.
country of Kazakhstan. So it was really cool to see that cultural diverseness and also the teams. So we were staying at a hotel with teams from around the world, and one of the teams we got to really get to know is Canada, which was really cool. They spoke English, obviously, really well,
Nice.
so we could communicate with them easily. And we coordinated a lot of our skiing days and transportation with their team, so it was cool to get to know them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did the Canadians say a lot?
No,
No.
none.
None.
But we did meet some Brits, some people from Great Britain,
Yeah.
and they thought my Colorado accent was a little funny.
Really? I didn't realize that we have an
I
accent.
didn't either, but apparently we do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Being able to go around America, I've heard a lot of different accents, so I can attest that you do have a Colorado accent.
Oh,
That's really funny.
It's cool.
Wow.
It's cool.
I thought we were just the baseline.
Right.
You
You know,
know
I
what?
wonder if everybody thinks that.
Everybody
Sometimes
does,
I
yeah.
think so.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I can hear other accents, but I was not aware that we had one. I thought you had a Colorado accent, which is funny because you're not from Colorado. But
Usually when I go meet people, they first see that like I'm probably Mexican or Hispanic,
Mm-hmm.
and then I start speaking English to them, and they're like, "You don't have an accent at all. What happened?" Like I just been speaking
What
English.
happened?
Like I've just been speaking English for like the past 12 years.
Yeah, so get used to it.
Get used
Right.
to it.
Yes.
right. Wow. So this has been amazing. With I mean, just us hearing little bits
Yeah.
about what all you've been up to with Nordic skiing, and so back. I think you answered this question before, but so you had the relay race in Kazakhstan. Were there any other events, or is that what you normally do when you go compete, or?
Actually, I went to the event to compete in 2 different events, and based on those based on how well I did in those, I would qualify for the relay team or not.
Okay.
So 6 American kids, females under 20, went to the event, and only 4 people made the relay team. So
Wow.
I made it my goal to try to perform well enough at the competitions to make the relay team. That was my goal going into it. So my other events were a classic sprint, which is a 1.3K loop, going as hard as you can. Pretty much it takes
Wow.
about 3.5
That-
minutes.
And this is still
Wow.
going uphill, right?
Going up, well, yes, it was actually a pretty turny course, so it's you go down and up and all around. So, and then the other event, I placed 40th in that event, which I didn't go into it with expectations, so I was happy with it. And there were about 65 or 70 girls in it, so that
Wow.
was cool. And the other event that I competed in was a skiathlon. So
Sounds a little
it's
intimidating.
a 5K of classic skiing in the tracks, like the walking motion, and then you switch skis in the middle of the race, in a transition zone, and then switch to 5 kilometers of skating.
Whoa.
The skating motion. So that was my favorite for sure, and I placed 35th in that race,
Wow.
and was the second American. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
Wow. Nicely done. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
So was like when you switched skis, was it like a pit stop in like cars where like people are trying to get the skis on?
Yes,
really fast?
exactly how it is.
That's awesome.
You come in frantic, and then you're just like scrambling to get all your stuff together. It's just a pit stop.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Hmm.
So I don't think any of us here are very expert downhill skiers,
Hmm.
but like as for comparison, like is it comparable to cross country skiing or like Nordic skiing? That is
Right.
like, is there any baseline other than going uphill on skis? Like just
Downhill. Well, I grew up downhill skiing, so I think that definitely did help in my downhill Nordic skiing capabilities because I seem to gain a lot of time on the downhills. So it is definitely similar. I mean, your skis are pointing down a hill on the downhills at least.
yeah.
It's also kind of similar to skinning uphill, where you see people on downhill skis pretty much like put fur on the bottom of their skis and hike up a mountain.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So I guess it would be comparable to that.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's not too similar. You kind of just you in the trail, no chairlifts or anything.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, one of your comments was that it was a lonely stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought that was a great article.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
So you said you grew up going through downhill skiing. When did you start Nordic skiing?
Yeah. So I started cross country skiing in 5th grade, and I kind of did it on a whim. I was following my brother because we were both big mountain bikers in the summer, and we wanted to maintain fitness throughout the winter. So before that we had done freestyle skiing, believe it or not. So it was
Whoa.
quite a transition to put on some skinny skis and go up the hills instead of down.
Huh.
But so I started in 5th grade, just trying it out, and I fell in love with it.
Wow.
Which was really cool.
That's amazing to me that you chanced on something like that and then ended up being so good at it.
Oh, thank you.
So, how'd you start getting into like competitions and traveling the world?
I don't know. Gradually, I started competing around Colorado when I was in 5th and 6th grade, 7th grade as well. So in 8th grade, I went to my first junior nationals competition, which involves kids from around the country, from Alaska to New York. Everybody's there.
Mic check.
So, sorry.
No, it's okay.
what was I
You were
saying?
juniors in.
Junior national.
That was my first time competing against people from around the country, and that kind of motivated me to see what else was out there and push myself even further. And I eventually qualified for trips to go around the world.
That's
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
That's nice.
So, also with your past trip to Kazakhstan, you took the trip during the school year, and knowing that you and I had the same AP Lit class, you obviously were gone for a lot of chunks, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Oedipus Rex. How do you keep that organized? Like, how did you fall behind, and if you didn't, how did you keep track of your homework?
Yeah, I did. I did fall behind. Well, I talked to my teachers before, make sure they know I'm leaving, and try to get as much work for while I'm gone that I can do on my own. When I got back, I made it a priority to get caught up again. So I'm actually fully caught up. I was almost fully caught up a week after I got back.
Wow.
In my schoolwork. So I just
I'm sure that was a
put
little
that on the front burner.
crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely stressful. Like I had a couple panic attacks, but it's okay.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
It's worth it for me to be able to travel, and
Yeah,
I'll
wow.
figure
Well,
out school.
I remember you mentioning in our calc class that WebAssign was blocked in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, it was.
That's so funny.
It was. I tried to get on a couple of different websites that my teachers had told me to get on for work, and they were blocked in Kazakhstan. I don't know. Maybe it's a threat to
Do homework.
something. Yeah, apparently homework is a crime.
Calculus is against the law.
If calculus is against the law, I'm moving to Kazakhstan.
Aren't there some
Me
countries
too.
where like homework is against the law?
I don't know.
Romania or something?
Maybe.
I totally have heard that.
Yeah. Well, it's probably going to end up being a rumor, and I'm going to regret that I mentioned it on the podcast. But that would be pretty awesome.
It is a thing though. In my elementary school when I lived in California, they had a policy that was no homework. So
Really?
I didn't have homework going through elementary school.
Wow.
It was pretty great.
I remember.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I remember like really stressing about homework in elementary
Me
school.
too.
Like 4th grade, I think was a big year.
Yep.
Huh. Well, like I've got 3 little brothers, and 2 of them. No, sorry, one of them. Sorry, Landon. One of them is in elementary school. One of them's in middle school, and one's a freshman this year. But the 1st grader gets so much homework like every week. I sometimes feel like he's doing more homework than I do, which is sad because I feel like I have a lot of homework.
It's funny how that homework thing is a big issue. Like yesterday, I went to the student panel thing for the freshmen coming up, and one of the students asked, like, how much homework do you get on an average night? And I'm not sure if this is accurate for you guys, but one of them says, like, we get from like 1 to 3 hours of homework every night. So, like, is that true? Because, like, I don't really have homework because I do it mostly at school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, don't intimidate the freshmen.
Right.
Like, they're coming up.
Well, for in my experience anyway, the harder classes I have to set aside like an hour and a half every time that I have that class to do homework, and it never ends up being that much for me as long as I stay on top of things and don't fall behind. But so this year I'm because I'm taking 3 AP classes, I have a couple of free blocks. Yeah, just to manage the homework, and it always ends up being almost always like on an average night, like not as much homework as I've set aside time for, which is nice. But like finals week, that stuff gets crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing that I find pretty common in high school homework is that there's a lot of assignments that are like due the next week or due in a few days, you know. So there might be big projects or packets or something like that, but it might be due in a few days, so it's less intimidating than it looks originally.
Right. I think we learn time management better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Procrastination is not your friend.
Yes, I know. I feel like the busier I am, the more I stay on top of
Me
things because I'm
too.
forced not to procrastinate.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, I think we should get back to either Nordic skiing or how awesome your family is because we're really excited to have you as a guest today.
Thank you. I'm
But-
so happy to be here.
Your brother is a professional cyclist, correct?
Yeah, he is.
And you mentioned that you have, or at least you used to do a lot of cycling too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still pursue that in the summer, or?
I do, yeah. It's actually mountain biking. My brother's a road cyclist,
Oh, okay.
but one of my favorite pastimes is mountain biking. So I try to get out whenever I can, and I can't really road bike with my brother anymore. He's a little too fast for me, but I still do try to get out on the road bike too for some summer training.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice. And you mentioned that was to stay active for, then your Nordic skiing. Is
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, 'cause it's a year-round sport,
Mm-hmm.
which I love. It's just something to focus on year-round. So
I didn't know that.
yeah,
You-
most of the benefits you'll see are made in the summer, I guess. So that's where most of the volume of training happens, and I do a lot of biking, a lot of running, a little bit of swimming, and a lot of roller skiing.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever
nope.
seen me. I'm sure
Nope.
somebody has, but
Oh. Okay.
it's
I think
kind of like rollerblading.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a little bit with poles and with a little bit different shaped blades.
Okay.
So
Well,
I feel
I
like I would fall down a lot.
yeah, I try not to. Road rash is not.
oh,
Fun thing
that
to
sounds
have.
horrible. Yeah, I've seen people in our valley doing that, and I always thought that looked cool, but I didn't realize it was like an actual official thing with
Yeah.
special blades and everything. But I
It
was
is.
like, oh, look at they're cheating with ski poles. That's how I should learn how to rollerblade. But
Not quite.
yeah, I'm sure there's a lot I don't know about sports. So.
No, it's okay.
Cool. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys have questions, but
Well, one thing that you had mentioned, you did like a presentation in our American history class, so we got
Mhm.
to learn a lot. But one thing that you had mentioned that I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit more about was the smog. So you said that there was like a lot of smog, almost like it was foggy every day, but it was smoggy?
oh wow.
Exactly. So I would wake up every day and check the forecast for the city
much
we were
smog?
in.
In Kazakhstan, correct? Okay, just to clarify.
Yeah, we were in a place called Almaty, Kazakhstan, and it's the 9th most polluted city in the world.
Wow.
So
That's unfortunate.
it is. But I would wake up every morning, look out the window, see visibility was fairly low because of the smog, and then you
Wow.
check the forecast on your phone and it would say 19 degrees and smoke. So
Wow.
instead of sun, it was smoke, but it was something we got used to.
Huh.
The Americans especially, we all brought masks from home, filtration
okay.
masks,
that
to
makes
try to
sense.
save our lungs a little bit. But I know a lot of the team ended up getting a pretty bad cough by the end of the week.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I would think, especially since you were going there to ski and
Right, and
work
it's-
your lungs hard.
Exactly, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, probably a big change from like here, with like fresh air and like nature, to going to the 9th most polluted city in the world.
Yeah, it was really
Wow.
hard on me. I think I didn't handle it the best. I definitely got a pretty bad hack.
Oh, that's too bad. What about like altitude wise? How was it, compared to Colorado?
It was about
we can't read that, Simon. Sorry. Yeah, I still can't
Oh,
read it
I
from
see,
here.
I
A little
see.
small.
All right. He was telling us our time that we had run, so
Oh,
continue.
okay. Yeah, we're
It's fine.
we've got plenty of time.
Yeah, we'll just keep going until we feel like stopping.
Yeah.
what were we, so the
Dude.
elevation, our event was about 3,000 feet
Okay.
above sea level, so it's not all the way down there, but it's definitely a lot of oxygen compared to what I'm used to.
That's nice. People always say that like people who train in Colorado have an advantage sports right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, going down in altitude is sometimes harder.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm training at such a high altitude that it's harder to move quickly.
Huh.
So when you do go down to sea level, it's harder for your body to adjust and move quicker and kind of get used to the different kind of muscular pain rather than a lung pain that you feel up here when you're working hard.
Huh.
So that's something to work on.
Wouldn't have ever known that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I've experienced that a little bit, but I've experienced it both ways. Where I moved here a year and a half ago, I think now. But I moved here like right before school had started, so I guess a year and 3/4, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided I wanted to play football, and that was probably the worst decision ever to make because I'd been here for like a week, and then I was playing football, so it was very hard on my lungs. So I know.
Yeah, it works both ways, coming up or down.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you always hear about altitude sickness, but I would have. I mean, like, does that apply for low altitude? It sounds like it's got a counterpart.
I don't know. It's not sickness so much as just too much oxygen.
It's really funny.
My body doesn't know what to do with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 'cause like you always hear like runners come up here to train to go like run faster, like in California or wherever it's sea level.
Yeah.
But you never really think of like the physical effects of that change on your altitude. Like you mentioned, muscular pain instead of feeling that pain inside. So probably something to think about.
Yeah, you know, I kind of feel better knowing that it isn't all like pure advantage to train here. I don't know. I was always like, well, why doesn't everybody come here for sports then? Like,
Yeah.
I feel
Good.
better now.
Yeah, now you know.
A lot of Colorado sports teams have troubles with that too. Like, they win at home, but then going anywhere else, it just screws them up.
That's so funny.
They
Yeah.
are not very good in away games.
Right, because the assumption would be it'd be the other way.
Right.
Which, oh, well, yeah, I guess actually no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh. So at some point, we need to make sure to read the sponsor message this
Yeah,
time.
you want to go ahead and do that now, Brooklyn?
Sure.
Unless you want me to do it.
Sure, I'll have you do it.
Logan?
All right. So, are you looking to play that old out of tune piano again? Do you want to get your piano back into tune and sounding brand new? Do you need to give some love and care to an old piano friend? Has it been 6 months or more since the last piano tuning? Call a fine-tuned piano tuning.
Sorry.
Call a fine-tuned piano tuning today for anywhere in the Roaring Fork Valley, and you'll have professional, timely, and fantastic customer service who will work with you to help maintain your piano so that you can get back to playing and enjoying your love of music. Call today at 970-319-6089. A fine-tuned piano tuning. A family-owned business who serves music lovers in the Roaring Fork Valley. 970-319-6089.
So this is something that we're trying to integrate into our podcasts now as a sponsor message because we could use some funding.
Yeah.
Yeah. While we're on the subject, maybe we could mention Cheez-Its. Like the joke there.
Cheez-Its. So, when we were first originally talking about sponsors and that kind of stuff, we were trying to come up with company brand names and things like that. And one of the things that came up was Cheez-Its, and we just started toying with the idea.
Yeah, like a Cheez-It counter, and like how many times you can fit the word Cheez-It into the podcast.
And it eventually started like replacing words. So like we were gonna have it so like curse words would be replaced with Cheez-Its throughout the podcast. And so yeah, for everybody listening in at home, if you can count how many times we say Cheez-Its, it won't mean a thing. So.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But that's why we've ended the podcast a couple times now with somebody saying cheese it randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first time after we finished our first podcast and it went up online,
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple kids come up and tell me like, "Why'd you say Cheez-Its at the end?" And
Well, there we go. Now we can
So,
explain it.
now we can explain it now.
Now it's explained.
Yeah.
Everybody
2
who
episodes in,
watches.
3 episodes in.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're gonna end up with a lot of inside jokes from our practices and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
that
yeah.
are gonna come out later. Like, so guys, why were you talking about this and laughing? It wasn't that funny.
It's funny to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But Cheez-Its, yeah. That's
Okay,
that's
now I
that's the
know.
explanation.
There
Now
we go.
everybody knows.
We should get that graphic that says like the more you know.
The more you know.
The
Right
rainbow
here.
and the
The
stars.
more you know.
There we go. There we go. Yes.
Right over Howell's head.
Cheez-Its. Oh, yeah. What else could we talk? Oh, so one idea that I had, since we it looks like if we wanted to shoot for the half an hour mark, we've got a couple minutes left. But we could talk about funny skiing stories, because I mean, with downhill skiing, there's always wipeouts and crashes and stuff. And I was curious, like, do you get that in Nordic skiing, or do you have funny stories?
Yeah, actually, I have a super embarrassing story. Well, it was embarrassing for me from World Championship.
Oh no.
So it was a training day, and I was just finishing up my hard interval workout, and I was trying to get my glove back on. I took my glove off to like get my water or something. So I was putting my glove back on, just walking with my skis on slowly, and the whole Norwegian girls team was there skiing, taking a water break. So I was walking along, and I fell and just fell over, snapped my pole in half, and just like laid there for a while in front of the whole Norwegian girls team, and they're
Oh,
the best
man.
team there. It was so embarrassing,
man.
but I just kind of laughed at myself and
Yeah.
laid there and just
like-
basked in the sun.
I have a broken pole now.
It was so sad, but
Aw.
yeah, you do get some pretty intense crashes in Nordic
Really?
skiing. I try to avoid them.
How, like, I mean, with downhill skiing, you can lose control and like run into a tree or something.
yeah,
But what?
Same with Nordic. People have
Really?
run off the trail before.
Really?
People have been airlifted
Wow.
out of venues. It's not common, but it's definitely safer than downhill skiing.
Okay.
But then again, you don't have any protective gear. You just
Okay.
have a skinny little race suit
Huh.
to protect you. So that
Do
won't
you stay
do
warm
much.
in that?
Layers.
Okay. Yeah.
Lots of layers do help. But
Nice.
It's cold.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
did not have anything to say.
Okay.
Howell
I guess
just
I
kind of
could
looked at me.
mention one.
Mhm.
A while back, I think a couple years ago, me and my friends went to go skiing at Snowmass, and me thinking that they were like, good and stuff, I went pretty fast and I sort of left them behind. So then I spent the rest of the day trying to go find them.
Oh, Snowmass is horrible for that.
And I think it was their first time skiing.
Oh.
So Snowmass for them wasn't really the best option. Maybe Buttermilk, because it's like more beginner
Yeah.
thing. So then I went like looking for them, like, where are they? And then they just ended up like at the bottom with
Oh.
drinking coffee at Starbucks.
Oh, that's
At
funny.
least you know where to find them.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
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 Yeah, my dad one time got lost on Snowmass and ended up like a mile off the mountain, like in a village. and-
How did you get there?
I really don't know how that happened, but yeah. And then the last time I went skiing was on Sunlight, and I had like the clumsiest day of my life. I had 2 major wipeouts. One of them was I was going really fast and like caught an edge or something and wiped out, lost both my skis, both my poles, and it was right under the
No.
chairlift.
Oh,
So
no.
everybody was like, "Oh!" It was really funny.
That's the worst.
Yeah. And the other one, my cousin snowboards, and she was like going to make a turn, and I was trying to give her a wide berth, but like caught an edge because I was like too far off along the side and it wasn't
Glenn.
skied on. I lost control and started like barreling towards her.
Oh, no.
Again, under the ski lift, I screamed, and, and so she stopped because she heard me like screaming and like falling towards her, and then I like hit her board and went like rolling and
Oh,
screamed
no.
again, and it was really funny. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a fun day. I had other things that day too.
Logan?
So I guess I have one story. It's not really about me. The one time my family's ever gone skiing, my little brother, his name is Ryan. He's in 6th grade. He was skiing and he wiped out. And like I'm not very good at skiing and I don't know anything about skiing. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. But his skis like popped out. Like
okay.
I don't know if that's
His
like a
boot.
safety thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it popped off, but one of them popped off and it like landed flat. So it just kept going down the hill.
Oh man.
And he's like stuck with one ski on the hill and one is off by itself.
Like skiing on its own. Did you guys ever play Line Racer? Like with the little guy on the sled and you draw a track for him?
No, I've never played that.
Okay. Well, when he crashes, his sled like keeps going. Yeah.
Nice.
I know what you're talking about.
I love that game.
Me too.
I haven't played it in a long time, but anyway, I think we're at about half an hour. So if
We're
we
done.
wanted to wrap up now, or either's fine, I guess. But
Yeah, well, I mean, anybody have anything else that they want to talk about?
I have
Haley, you
another
got
story.
questions for us?
you have a story?
I have another story.
Oh.
All right.
Not really skiing related, more like sledding.
Okay.
Right?
Still snow related. But last year, it was like January, December, we went sledding up to the hill behind the high school.
Oh boy.
So
There's
it
a lot of stories about this.
Yeah. So we were like with some family friends and stuff. And I was going down like the main way, like just straight down.
Uh-huh.
And then this other kid, he was like 5 or 6 years old. He was coming
Uh-oh.
on the other way,
Oh no.
and he just got appendicitis and just had
Like
surgery.
a 5-year-old?
Yeah, I don't know why.
What?
Apparently it's common. But he had appendicitis and like got out of
What?
surgery like a couple days before,
Oh.
or like a week, I forget,
And went sledding.
and went sledding.
Oh.
And here's the bad part. So I finished my thing. I
Okay.
got up, and then I turned the opposite direction. So here comes this little 5-year-old kid behind me. in the snow.
Oh, no.
He knocks me off my feet, and I land right on his stomach
Oh.
where he had appendicitis.
Oh,
So then
man.
I just like
no.
got up and like, what do I do? What do I do? Is he gonna die? I don't want to be a murderer.
I killed him.
I killed him. But yeah.
Wow.
And then
Was he okay?
he was fine.
Oh,
And then
that's
5 months later, I got appendicitis and
Oh no.
couldn't move for like a week.
It's like
Oh,
at that poor
no.
kid.
Oh my god.
I know somebody who had appendicitis and went bowling a couple days later. It's like, that's smart. Nicely done. Okay. Oh.
I've never had anything major. Well, knock on wood.
Yeah,
I've never
right,
had
right.
anything major like that where I'd have to go to the hospital. I don't
You're
think
gonna
I've
get appendicitis
ever
now.
been checked in to a hospital.
Oh,
Oh my
Never
gosh.
broken a bone. Never had a concussion. Anything.
wow. That's
That's
fortunate.
risky to say.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
So-
pretty confident in my ability not to get hurt.
Same with Logan. I've never been to a hospital beforehand, so like no bones, no concussions. And I think I went to City Market because I'm lazy and don't cook over the summer.
Mhm.
And I went to buy some enchilada tacos, and I think that's what made me get sick, because they tasted weird, and I
Oh.
got sick, and then I ended up in the hospital 2 days later.
So lesson here: don't eat tacos.
Don't eat enchilada
Don't
tacos.
eat food. No.
Do not eat food. Just-
Enchilada flavored tacos, they're poisonous.
Okay, good to know. Huh.
So-
Keep that in mind.
That was-
Thanks again for joining us, Haley. This was really awesome.
Oh, thanks so much for
Yeah.
having me. It
I
was
think
fun.
I think it is a pretty good time to start wrapping it up.
Yeah. We
so-
loved having you. This was great.
Thanks.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its, yeah.
Cheez-Its.